Beloved chosen one, you didn't land here by accident. You were called. Something greater has been guiding you, whispering through synchronicities, dreams, and quiet nudges to bring you to this exact moment. And now that you're here, let me tell you, what's about to unfold will not only shift your reality, it will activate a part of your soul that's been waiting to awaken for a very long time. Can you feel it? That subtle, tingling energy in your chest, that electricity buzzing through your fingertips. That's divine alignment in motion. That's confirmation you are right where you need to be. There is someone out there, a wealthy, loving, spiritually awakened soul who is already on their way to you. This person isn't just a fantasy or a distant hope. They are real, they are ready, and they are being drawn to you by the very frequency your spirit is now emitting. Even if your logical mind tries to argue otherwise, your energy doesn't lie. The love you've been preparing for is preparing for you. You are now entering a timeline where what once felt impossible is becoming inevitable. And before we go any deeper, I want to take a moment to thank you. To everyone who has supported this channel through Super Thanks, I am so deeply grateful. Your generosity helps me continue pouring into this work, to show up consistently and speak directly to your soul. And whether you've donated or not, please know this: your presence here is priceless to me. Just the fact that you are receiving this message, that your heart is open and your spirit is listening, means more than words can express. Thank you for being part of this sacred space. Now, if your soul is already resonating with what's being spoken, go ahead and drop the number 777 in the comments. This isn't just engagement, it's a declaration. 777 is a signal to the universe that you are awake, aligned, and ready to claim what's divinely yours. It tells the spiritual realm, I'm in position, I'm in frequency, I'm open. And when you speak that truth, things begin to move fast. You are not here to beg for love. You are not here to chase breadcrumbs or shrink yourself to fit someone else's idea of worth. You are a divine magnet for a partner who matches your light, mirrors your depth, and meets you with the same richness you've cultivated within yourself. This connection isn't luck, it's legacy. But before you take another step into this unfolding miracle, pause. Let this moment settle. Let your body exhale, because what we're about to uncover together is more than just information. It's activation. Only those who are truly chosen will stay to the end, and those who do will walk away not just with clarity, but with power. Rewatch this video as often as your spirit calls for it. Each time, new layers will unfold. New truths will be revealed. Why? Because divine messages are alive. They meet you where you are and rise with you as you ascend. Now close your eyes and take a deep breath. Can you feel it? That quiet hum in the air around you, that sacred stillness. That's not your imagination. That's the atmosphere of transformation. The door has already begun to open. The frequency has already been released. And your soulmate is already on their way. Let's walk through this next chapter together. God's chosen ones. You're about to meet a wealthy, loving soulmate, and you deserve it. Chosen one, have you ever considered that your divine partner might not arrive with thunder or grand gestures, but instead in the stillness of a moment you've lived 1,000 times before? Maybe it won't be in a candlelit crowd or a dramatic whirlwind like the movies suggest. It could be during a walk to the grocery store, a spontaneous decision to go to a coffee shop, or while you're simply doing what you always do. But something will feel undeniably different. The atmosphere will change. You'll feel it, not with your eyes, but in your spirit. The energy around you will shift like heaven itself leaned in closer. Why? Because divine appointments never arrive according to human logic. They arrive on God's clock. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Habakkuk 2:3. You are not waiting in vain. Your soulmate isn't just a person. They're part of a divine promise. You won't have to search for them in desperation or script your every move to be found. Instead, you'll meet them when you're most aligned, not with perfection, but with peace. Have you noticed how the more you try to force things, whether it's love, money, or clarity, the more they seem to slip through your fingers? That's because love and abundance don't respond to control. They respond to surrender. You were never meant to chase your blessings. You were born to attract them through divine trust. The moment you stop clutching at outcomes and start believing in divine order, the doors begin to open. Not by might, not by power, but by spirit. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Matthew 6:33. God isn't asking you to perfect yourself before you receive love. He's asking you to position yourself, to trust his ways, even when they seem quiet or delayed. You don't have to be flawless to be chosen. You only have to be faithful. Remember Ruth? She wasn't out scheming to find Boaz. She was simply faithful in the field, showing up, doing her part. And that's where her destiny found her. What if the same is true for you? What if love, provision, and restoration aren't separate journeys, but one divine unfolding? Have you ever felt like you've been tested in love so many times, you've stopped expecting anything good? Maybe your heart still carries the sting of betrayals. Maybe you trusted the wrong people, those who only saw what they could take from you, not who you truly are. Perhaps you were taught, directly or indirectly, that asking for both love and abundance made you greedy, that having both joy and prosperity was somehow too much. But let's tell the truth, that's not the voice of God. That's the residue of fear. Because the God who chose you is a God of fullness, not lack. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. John 10:10. Don't let the thief lie to you anymore. Your desires for connection and prosperity are not excessive. They're encoded in your spiritual DNA. Think about Viola Davis. Before she became the award-winning actress we know today, she faced poverty, hunger, and rejection, but she never stopped believing that she deserved love and success. Her husband found her in the midst of that rising journey, not at the end of it. She didn't chase him, she became herself, fully, and love found her there. Could it be that your story is moving in the same rhythm? Chosen one, your past heartbreaks weren't punishments, they were preparations. God was never trying to destroy your hope. He was refining your discernment. Every time someone left you, misused your trust, or couldn't meet you at your level, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. He was drawing you closer to your true worth, to prepare you for someone who wouldn't see your light as competition, but as home. Steve Harvey often shares how he didn't find his queen until after his own transformation. Years of failures and setbacks humbled him. He found love, not when he had it all figured out, but when he surrendered to God's timing. Now he speaks openly about how partnership can amplify purpose. Maybe what's coming for you is more than romance, it's kingdom alignment. Have you begun to suspect that the delay in love wasn't denial, it was divine protection? That God was saving your heart for someone who could handle it, who wouldn't be threatened by your strength, confused by your calling, or intimidated by your glow? You were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong people. The one coming to you will love all of you. Not just the parts that are easy to admire, but the complexities, the quiet places, the warrior wounds. They'll see you not as a project to fix, but as a treasure to cherish. And when they arrive, you'll realize why it never worked with anyone else. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37:4. God isn't just sending anyone, He's sending a reflection of what He's placed inside you: wealth in spirit, richness in character, depth in devotion. This isn't just about romance, it's about restoration. And let's not forget Keanu Reeves. Quiet, humble, private, yet known for profound kindness and generosity. He too experienced personal tragedies and solitude, yet in that space his soul was purified, and today he's found connection on his own terms, rooted in authenticity, not performance. You too, chosen one, are being prepared for a relationship that doesn't dilute your essence, it magnifies it. So what if, in this next chapter, you stop asking, when will they come, and start asking, how can I stay open? Because readiness isn't about perfection, it's about posture. Stay soft, stay faithful, stay open. You're not behind, you're being aligned. Your soulmate won't complete you, you are already whole. But when they arrive, you'll recognize them, not by looks or words, but by the way your soul exhales. The waiting won't have been in vain, it will make sense. And when it does, you'll know. This love was always yours. It was never lost. It was just preparing for the right moment. Chosen one, can you feel it? That sacred stirring inside you, the one that refuses to settle for a life of bare survival. You weren't born just to get by. You were born to rise, to flourish, to love and be loved beyond comprehension. But somewhere along the way, life tried to convince you otherwise. Wounds were etched into your spirit. Losses weighed down your dreams. You began to shrink your expectations, not because you lacked faith, but because you were protecting a heart that had already endured too much. But here's the truth, your soul never forgot. You were made for more. More than heartache, more than scarcity, more than barely making it. Have you noticed that despite everything you've been through, there's still a quiet voice inside you whispering, there's something greater? That whisper isn't your imagination, it's the echo of God's promise. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. This divine blueprint hasn't been erased by your past. It's been activated through it. You see, healing isn't denial. It's divine rebellion against the lie that your past defines your future. You don't need to pretend your wounds don't exist. You don't need to cover your scars. In fact, those scars are sacred. They prove you made it. You're still standing. And not just standing, but rising. Every time you say, I am still worthy, you disarm the voices that tried to convince you otherwise. Have you ever considered that your survival alone was a miracle? That every tear you cried was collected by God? Every night you collapsed in silence was recorded in heaven? You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. Psalm 56:8. That verse isn't poetry, it's prophecy. Your pain was never wasted. It was processed in the courts of heaven. And now, chosen one, your time of receiving is near. Let's look at someone like Taraji P. Henson. Before she became one of the most powerful actresses in Hollywood, she was a single mother with just $700 to her name. People told her she was too late, too poor, too much of a risk. But she chose to believe something greater. She chose to love herself when others didn't, and through that self-love, she aligned with her destiny, and now she walks in abundance. That's not coincidence, that's calling. So the question is, how do you start stepping into your own season of love and abundance? The answer begins with how you treat you, because chosen one, no external blessing can take root until your internal soil is ready. Every act of self-kindness you give yourself becomes a seed. When you speak gently to yourself, forgive yourself, honor your needs, and stop belittling your pain, you raise your frequency to the level where divine partnerships and prosperity can finally find you. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Proverbs 16:9. That means your only job isn't to know all the hows and whens. It's to trust your worthiness, release control, and align with joy. That's what opens the door. That's what changes everything. Think about how often you've talked yourself out of blessings. Have you ever said, "I'm not ready," or "I probably don't deserve that," or "that kind of love is for other people"? Every time you said those words, the gate to your blessing narrowed. But here's the breakthrough. The more you choose joy instead of fear, trust instead of hesitation, and gratitude instead of lack, you tune yourself to heaven's frequency. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Renewal isn't a lightning strike. It's daily choices. It's choosing to believe you're loved even when no one calls. It's choosing to believe you're worthy even when the bank account is low. It's choosing to believe something better is coming even when nothing around you looks like it. Let's pause here and think about Tyler Perry. Rejected over and over again, living in his car, struggling to get people to see his vision. But he never gave up. He stayed aligned. He spoke life over himself when no one else did. And now? He owns a production studio the size of a city. But more importantly, he's at peace. He found love, purpose, and prosperity by staying faithful when it didn't make sense. Could the same be true for you, chosen one? Could your current silence be the soil where heaven is about to bloom? What if this stretch of your life isn't punishment, but preparation? What if God is not late, but precise? And when the door finally opens, and it will, you won't feel like a stranger to the love or the wealth that walks in. You'll recognize it because you became it first. You didn't just wait for a soulmate. You became a soul worth meeting. You didn't just wish for abundance. You built the container to hold it. You upgraded your frequency so that when the miracle arrived, it could stay. Take Lupita Nyong'o, for example. She wasn't born into the spotlight. She worked in silence for years, often behind the scenes. But in her time of preparation, she became someone of extraordinary depth, grace, and brilliance. Now, she doesn't just shine, she illuminates others. That's the power of healing with integrity. That's the beauty of divine alignment. So the next time you feel doubt creeping in, remind yourself of this. You're not asking for too much. You're asking from the wrong frequency. And now that you're learning to speak to yourself with love, honor your journey with grace, and walk in faith instead of fear, everything is shifting. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you. Matthew 7:7. But this time, you're not knocking with desperation. You're knocking with knowing. Because you finally understand you are worthy. Chosen one, has anyone ever told you that the harder you grip, the more you actually block what's meant for you? Maybe you've been conditioned to hustle for love, to strategize for blessings, to overthink every detail of your life so nothing goes wrong. But here's a divine truth you need to remember today. You were never called to carry it all. You don't have to force the outcome. You don't need to manipulate the timeline. You don't even need to have it all figured out. Because chosen one, God already has. The blessing isn't waiting on your control. It's waiting on your surrender. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. That's not a suggestion. That's an instruction for your breakthrough. Think about how nature operates. The sun doesn't compete to rise. The trees don't beg the wind to move their leaves. They simply are. They trust the flow. So why wouldn't your destiny, your love, your wealth also move according to divine rhythm, especially since you are a part of the divine creation itself? Have you ever thought that the moment you stop trying to force love, it will show up in a way that feels effortless, real, and safe? That when you stop chasing after validation, the one who's been searching for you can finally find you? The universe is not ignoring your prayers, it's orchestrating a moment so sacred, it requires your heart to be fully open when it arrives. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. You've been carrying too much, worrying about timelines, asking when it'll happen, doubting if it ever will. But what if the very act of letting go is what sends the signal to heaven that you're finally ready? Imagine this: you place an order online. You don't stand by the front door, staring out the window for hours, panicking and wondering if it'll show. You trust it's on the way. You go about your day. You make room for it in your home. That's how faith works. That's how alignment works. That's how your next season is going to work too. So here's the deeper question. Are you making room, or are you still trying to micromanage God's delivery schedule? Because love, abundance, your soulmate, your purpose, it's all been shipped. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Proverbs 10:22. That means what's coming doesn't come with confusion. It comes with peace. Let's look at Sarah Jakes Roberts. Her life didn't follow a predictable path. Teenage pregnancy, public mistakes, pressure from all sides. But she stopped trying to control how God would redeem her. And once she surrendered, the doors of restoration and divine alignment opened. Today, she's not just thriving in ministry, she's walking in a powerful, loving marriage, building a legacy for millions of women. Why? Because she chose the door of the unknown over the comfort of old pain. Now imagine this with me. Chosen one, you're standing in front of two doors. One is familiar. It's the path of fear, overthinking, doubt. The other is unfamiliar, unpredictable, even a little scary. But it's the doorway to transformation. Which one will you choose? The familiar door leads to what you've always known: waiting in anxiety, second-guessing your worth, clinging to old patterns because they feel safe. But safety isn't the same as alignment. Familiarity isn't the same as fulfillment. That second door? It's the invitation. That's the one your soul has been nudging you toward. The only question heaven is asking is, are you ready to walk through it? I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life. Deuteronomy 30:19. God doesn't force the door open for you. He offers it. You get to choose, and you don't need a roadmap. You just need courage. Take Issa Rae, for example. She didn't have all the connections. She didn't fit Hollywood's mold, but she didn't wait for permission. She created her own space, trusted her voice, and walked through the unfamiliar door. And now, she's married, wealthy, and in full control of her narrative, not because she followed a script, but because she surrendered to her unique flow. Could it be that the next level of your love life and your wealth is behind the door that feels unfamiliar but spiritually aligned? Could it be that you're not stuck? You're just standing still at a threshold, waiting for the courage to believe you're worthy of what's on the other side? Sometimes we confuse waiting with powerlessness, but the truth is, waiting in faith is one of the most powerful positions you can hold, because it says, God, I trust you enough not to rush you. And when God sees that kind of trust, he doesn't just answer, he over-delivers. Don't miss this. You don't have to fix everything first. You don't need to be more spiritual, more healed, more successful to be loved or to receive. You just need to be open. Let's think about Simone Biles. At the height of her career, she chose to pause. She stepped back, not because she was weak, but because she was wise. She knew that mental and emotional readiness were just as important as physical ability. And when she returned, she didn't come back as a people pleaser. She returned as a whole woman. That's the kind of power you're stepping into. So, what if this is your pause moment? Not a delay, but a divine breath before the breakthrough. What if the universe isn't making you wait? It's preparing the perfect moment for your alignment. Chosen one, you're not behind. You're being positioned. The right person, the right resources, the right revelations. They're not just coming, they're converging. You just have to stop resisting and start receiving. Your only job is to trust. Not with blind naivety, but with sacred knowing. Because the truth is this: you were never meant to chase the miracle. You were meant to become the vessel that welcomes it. Chosen one, have you ever felt the quiet tug in your soul that whispers, "This isn't all there is, there's more for you"? That whisper isn't random. It's not just longing, it's alignment. It's your spirit recognizing that your dreams aren't fantasies. They're previews of what's already in motion. That great love you imagine, it's not too much to ask for. That level of wealth you envision, it's not too big. It's real, it's promised, and it's possible. If you stop settling for less than what your soul knows it was created to receive. God didn't bring you this far just to tease you with glimpses of a life you can never touch. He placed those desires in your heart because they are part of your calling. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37:4. That doesn't mean He rewards temporary effort. It means that when your spirit aligns with His truth, what's meant for you begins to find you, not by striving, but by believing. But here's the question, chosen one, have you fully stepped into the frequency of what you desire? The universe doesn't just respond to wishes, it responds to identity. When you rise into your worth, when you look in the mirror and finally say, "I am not asking for too much," everything around you begins to shift. Your energy sends out a signal and heaven replies. Abundance isn't just measured in dollars or titles. It's not only found in luxury or lifestyle. Abundance is a vibration, a mindset, a lens. It's how you interpret your existence. Do you wake up every morning and see scarcity, or do you see opportunity? Do you view yourself as stuck, or as someone being sculpted for greatness? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. You are what you believe you are. And chosen one, your belief is your gateway. That's why the enemy works overtime to make you feel small, unworthy, unqualified. Because if you ever fully believed in who you are and what's inside you, the floodgates would open. Look at Zendaya. She didn't fit the traditional Hollywood mold. She was told she had to dim her light, tone it down, follow the formula. But instead, she chose to believe in her own vision, to stand firm in her authenticity. And now, she's not only a global icon, she's created space for others to rise as well. That's the power of alignment. So what if today you stopped viewing your desires as distant dreams and started seeing them as divine directions? What if the love you long for isn't far away, but one decision away, one vibration shift, one belief flip? What if wealth isn't coming to save you, but to partner with you because your frequency finally matches it? Now, to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3:20. That means even your wildest dreams are limited compared to what God can actually do through you. So why play small? Why keep settling? Why talk yourself out of what's already been set aside for you? Imagine waking up in the morning and not feeling anxious but expectant. Imagine knowing, truly knowing, that love is being sent your way, not as a test, but as a blessing. Imagine seeing every closed door, not as rejection, but as divine redirection. What if your life started to feel alive again, not because your circumstances changed, but because you did? That's not fantasy. That's alignment. That's spiritual posture. That's the vibration you were born to live in. Now think about LeBron James, not just the athlete, but the man. He didn't stop at success in basketball. He created schools, mentored youth, built an empire, because he understood that abundance is a ripple effect. It starts in the mind, moves through the heart, and then touches the world. He didn't wait to become abundant. He walked like it, talked like it, and built like it, long before the money or legacy fully arrived. Could it be that your abundance is already on its way, but it's looking for the version of you that fully owns your calling, the version of you that doesn't apologize for wanting more, the version of you that knows, deep down, you were never made to settle. If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. Matthew 21:22. That's not a formula, that's a mindset, that's a lifestyle, that's divine inheritance. And chosen one, it's yours. Right now, the universe is aligning what you've been praying for. Love isn't avoiding you, it's approaching you. Wealth isn't punishing you, it's preparing to pour into your life. But God is waiting for one thing, your belief. Not just surface hope, but the kind of unshakable belief that walks like it's already done. The kind of faith that clears out emotional clutter and makes room for miracles. What if this is your proving ground? The moment where you finally stop letting fear write your story. The moment where you look at your past and say, I'm grateful for the lessons, but I'm no longer available for limitations. Because something inside you has always known there's more. And now it's time to live from that knowing. Look at Ava DuVernay. She didn't direct her first feature film until age 32, and yet she's now one of the most respected voices in entertainment. Why? Because she didn't give up on the dream. She didn't stop believing that she was worthy of it. She aligned, she surrendered, she rose. And so will you. So stay open, stay trusting, stay grounded in love, even on the days it feels like nothing's moving. Because sometimes the greatest miracles are growing underground, rooting deep so they can rise strong. Your soulmate already moving toward you. Your wealth already flowing in your direction. Your breakthrough already being whispered in the spirit realm. Chosen one, have you ever wondered who first told you that love, wealth, and opportunity were rare? That you had to compete, prove yourself, or overextend just to deserve a sliver of joy? From a young age, the world begins to plant false narratives in your spirit. There isn't enough for everyone. Don't dream too big. Only a few get to win. But deep within your soul, there's always been a knowing, a quiet resistance to those lies. A whisper that says you were not created to compete for crumbs. You were born to receive the feast. The earth is the Lord's, and everything in it. Psalm 24:1. That includes every resource, every opportunity, every form of love and abundance. None of it is scarce in the eyes of God. The scarcity mindset you've inherited wasn't divine. It was cultural conditioning. It was never heaven's truth. So what if the entire story you were told about survival and lack was never true to begin with? What if, instead of a battlefield where only a few make it, this life was meant to be a divine garden, overflowing with more than enough for every soul who knows their worth? When you begin to understand this, chosen one, you don't just shift your thoughts, you shift your entire vibration. You no longer live in fear of not enough. You begin to expect and attract exactly what your soul has been calling in. And my God will supply all your needs according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:19. Notice the word all. Not some, not partial, but all. Your emotional needs, your financial dreams, your spiritual desires. God isn't limited. So why should you live as if he is? Take a moment to observe your thoughts. Are they pulling you toward limitation or abundance, toward fear or faith? because the energy you carry is magnetic. When you believe that love is rare, you attract relationships rooted in fear. When you believe wealth is elusive, you repel financial peace. But when you shift into a mindset of abundance, your entire environment changes. People show up who want to support you. Resources appear just in time. That soulmate, they feel the pull too, because love follows alignment. Just look at Rihanna. She was once just a young girl from Barbados with dreams too big for her surroundings. But she never let the world define her worth. Today, she's not only a billionaire, but also a partner in a deeply loving relationship, building a family, a brand, and a legacy rooted in authenticity. Her abundance didn't come because she competed. It came because she owned her light. And so can you. But let's be clear, abundance isn't about having more just to say you did. It's not about luxury for show. True abundance is balance. It's waking up in a life that feels complete. It's being emotionally supported, spiritually anchored, and financially free, not to boast but to live with peace, purpose, and joy. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. 3 John 1:2. That's the kind of abundance God desires for you. Not excess for ego, but fullness for the soul. Now here's where it gets deeper. So many people believe that love and money are mutually exclusive, that you must choose one or sacrifice the other. But who planted that lie? That's not a spiritual law. That's a societal myth. When both are rooted in integrity, love and wealth don't compete. They elevate each other. In a loving partnership, financial peace doesn't create distance. It creates more space for freedom, creativity, and growth. Could it be that your desire for both love and abundance isn't greedy, it's godly? That it's not a contradiction to be blessed in your heart and your hands? God is not offended by your desire to thrive. He is the one who designed you to flourish. Let's look at Magic Johnson. He didn't stop at basketball greatness. He used his platform, his wealth, and his influence to build businesses, invest in communities, and uplift countless lives. He also built a marriage that has stood the test of time. That's the harmony of love and wealth. That's divine alignment in action. So let's dismantle another lie. Wealth is not evil. It is neutral. What you do with it defines whether it heals or harms. If your heart is pure, wealth becomes a vessel of compassion, generosity, and transformation. If your spirit is grounded, love becomes the fuel that drives it forward. The world needs more loving people with wealth, because those are the ones who change things for good. The generous will themselves be blessed, for they share their food with the poor. Proverbs 22:9. The abundance coming to you isn't just for your comfort, it's for your calling. When you're financially secure, you have more room to pour into others. When you're loved deeply, you have more capacity to give freely. The two were never meant to be in conflict. They were meant to coexist in divine balance. Now, let's get personal. How long have you doubted whether you deserve both? How many times have you settled, not because you lacked ability, but because you lacked belief in your worth? How many times were you told that you needed to earn love, or that financial peace was only for a select few? And more importantly, are you ready to release those lies? Because here's the truth. You are worthy simply because you exist. You don't need to prove, chase, or perform. The light in you is enough. The soul in you is enough. The faith in you is enough. And once you fully believe that, the world will start responding differently. Think of Oprah, not the empire, but the woman. For years, she battled internalized shame, rejection, and unworthiness. But the moment she began to own her story instead of hide it, everything changed. She didn't chase platforms. They opened themselves to her, because her confidence became her calling card. Her faith in her own value shifted the spiritual atmosphere around her. Could it be, chosen one, that your next level of life is just one belief shift away. That once you stop begging for crumbs and start sitting at your own table, everything you've been praying for will finally have permission to come in. You don't need to chase love. You attract it through wholeness. You don't need to chase wealth. You align with it through trust. You don't need to earn your worth. You remember it. You embody it. Because when you carry yourself like you're chosen, when you speak with self-respect, walk with divine confidence, and expect good things, you send a signal that draws heaven closer, and the universe, the angels, and the very blessings assigned to your name begin moving at full speed to reach you. Chosen one, have you ever had one of those days where everything just seemed to flow perfectly? You ran into the right people. An unexpected message or opportunity arrived at just the right moment. Even the air around you felt lighter, as if the universe was whispering, "You're exactly where you're supposed to be." That wasn't just luck. That wasn't random. That was alignment. That was divine orchestration unfolding in real time. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Psalm 37:23. When your energy is aligned with faith, gratitude, and openness, life begins to reflect that internal vibration back to you. It's not magic, it's spiritual law. As you have believed, so be it done unto you. Matthew 8:13. The belief you carry in your heart has a voice, and heaven listens to it closely. So the real question is, what have you been believing lately? Have you been focusing more on what's missing, what hasn't happened yet, what you fear may never come? Or are you beginning to anchor your thoughts in what's already good, already here, already growing, even if it's still invisible? Because here's the truth. Whatever you focus on expands. If you dwell on lack, you invite more of it. But when you shift your focus to gratitude, no matter how small, it starts a ripple that magnetizes more goodness into your life. Start simple. Be grateful for the friend who checks in on you, for the pet who loves you unconditionally, for the money you do have, even if it doesn't feel like enough yet, for the breath in your lungs and the courage in your heart. Gratitude says to the universe, "I see what's working, and I'm ready for more." And trust this, the universe will always answer that kind of declaration. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Gratitude isn't passive, it's powerful. It's one of the clearest signals you can send to heaven that says, "I'm open." But here's where many chosen ones stumble. We try to force it all to happen. We push, we obsess, we hustle ourselves into exhaustion, thinking that if we just work harder, think harder, or pray louder, we'll make the dream come faster. Have you ever tried to swim upstream, only to realize that the current was never against you? You just weren't letting it carry you. That's what control does. It creates resistance. And chosen one, you were not made to strive, you were made to flow. Let's look at someone like Jim Carrey. Long before he became a global icon, he wrote himself a check for $10 million, dated it for 5 years in the future, and carried it in his wallet. He wasn't forcing success. He was aligning his vibration with faith, imagination, and trust. And guess what? He landed a movie deal just before the date he wrote on the check. Coincidence or divine law responding to alignment? You've been taught that control equals power, but in the kingdom, surrender is strength. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. You don't need to understand how or when your breakthrough will come. You just need to trust that it is coming and prepare your soul to receive it. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing your grip on the timeline and placing your trust in divine timing. A tree doesn't bear fruit the day it's planted. Your prayers aren't being ignored. They're maturing, deepening, taking root beneath the surface. While you wait, don't let your energy spiral into doubt. Use the waiting to build your faith, your vision, your sense of worth. When the blessing arrives, it won't just match your prayer, it'll exceed it. Why? Because you'll be ready to sustain it. Take the story of Jo Malone, the founder of the iconic fragrance line. She didn't come from wealth. She battled illness, financial instability, and rejection, but she trusted her inner calling. She started mixing perfumes in her kitchen, surrendering the need to know every outcome. Today, her brand is a global legacy, and her life is proof that patience and surrender bear divine fruit. Could it be that your own legacy is forming quietly, patiently, behind the scenes, waiting for the moment when your spirit says, "Yes, I'm open now"? That relationship you've been waiting for, it's already being drawn to your energy. That financial breakthrough, it's already in motion, moving through channels you can't yet see. When you let go of needing to micromanage your blessings, you create space for them to find you freely. You stop blocking the flow with fear, and you start swimming with it, trusting that the current of the divine knows exactly where you're meant to go. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Just because you can't see the fruit yet doesn't mean the tree isn't growing. Trust the unseen. Trust the roots. Trust the divine timeline. Now take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders. Remind your soul, you are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. Love is coming. Wealth is coming. A life that feels expansive, sacred, and soul-aligned is already unfolding. But here's the final question, chosen one. Are you open enough to receive it when it does arrive? Because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of readiness. The only thing you need to do now is believe. Think back on those moments when life didn't make sense, until suddenly it did. When what felt like detours turned out to be divine redirection. When heartbreak led to healing. When silence became strength. None of it was random. All of it was alignment. You are not waiting in vain. You are being perfectly positioned. So in this season, stay rooted. Stay soft. Stay faithful. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise. And remember, patience isn't passive. It's spiritual posture. It's the quiet strength of a chosen one who knows. What God promised cannot be taken. What's aligned cannot be missed. And what's yours is already on the way. Chosen one, have you ever realized how much of your life has been spent trying to earn what was already yours? You were told to chase love, to prove your worth, to hustle endlessly. But deep in your soul, there's always been a quiet resistance to that noise. A knowing that the life meant for you wouldn't need to be forced. And that knowing, it was never wrong. You don't need to strive. You don't need to beg. You don't need to chase or convince anyone of your value. All you need to do is stay open, stay ready, because divine timing doesn't bow to pressure. It responds to trust. When you trust, you release anxiety and step into peace. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. That peace isn't laziness, it's preparation. It's spiritual alignment. Because the truth is this: real love, real success, real wealth. They're not random. They arrive when your frequency matches the future God has already written for you. That's why striving won't work. But surrender, that changes everything. So what happens when you stop trying to squeeze into the mold others expect of you and finally start living in your truth? That's when the shift begins. Your soul has its own blueprint, a sacred light, a divine purpose, a frequency unlike anyone else on earth. When you step into that, the world begins to rearrange itself around you. Your soulmate recognizes your frequency because they were wired for it. Your abundance flows toward you, not as a reward for struggle, but as the natural consequence of authenticity. Let your light so shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. You weren't meant to blend in. You were born to radiate. And when you walk boldly in your truth, the right things find you. They can't miss you because you're finally visible on the spiritual map you were always meant to occupy. Look at Trevor Noah. Born during apartheid in South Africa, he was never supposed to rise in a system built to suppress him. But instead of shrinking to fit expectations, he used his voice, his humor, and his truth to build a platform heard around the world. And love, wealth, purpose, they found him in that authentic space. Have you asked yourself lately, what lights me up? What makes me feel alive? That spark inside you is not random, it's divine GPS. Follow it. Chase what feels warm, expansive, and holy. When you walk in that direction, you're not walking alone. You're co-creating with the Creator himself. The universe meets you halfway, not because you've earned it, but because you're finally in sync with what's already yours. And here's the key that unlocks all of it. Gratitude. Yes, chosen one. Gratitude is the most underestimated spiritual force in the world. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Psalm 107:1. When you begin appreciating the small things, your breath, the sky, a smile, you're telling heaven, I see what's working. I trust there's more. And that attitude lifts your frequency into a space where miracles are normal. Even in your darkest moments, gratitude cracks open the door to light. It shows you what's still good, what's still breathing, what's still growing. The more you honor what's here, the more is sent to you. That's not wishful thinking. That's the law of divine expansion. Gratitude is a magnet. The more you celebrate, the more God gives you to celebrate. But don't stop there, because transformation, real, lasting transformation, doesn't just come from wishing. It comes when you take responsibility for your healing. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. That's where your new reality begins. Transformation isn't about becoming someone else. It's about peeling off the layers of who you were never meant to be. Every time you choose to heal, instead of repeat the pattern, you're telling the universe, I'm not just wishing, I'm ready. Every time you learn something new, shift a mindset, or have a courageous conversation with yourself, you're preparing to receive everything you've been praying for. Think of someone like Viola Davis. From poverty to global recognition, her transformation didn't come because she wanted applause. It came because she did the inner work. She faced the trauma. She chose healing. She became the version of herself who could hold the life she was always meant to live. That same potential is inside you. So now ask yourself, what are you still clinging to that no longer serves you? Old beliefs, old habits, fear-based thoughts. They may have protected you once, but they can't take you where you're going. You must let them go. Notice your patterns. Are they rooted in love or fear, in expansion or protection? There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. 1 John 4:18. You have to choose differently every day until your life reflects the new you. You can't step into divine love and abundant wealth while still carrying the identity of who you were when you felt unworthy of both. But here's the good news. You've already done so much of the work. You've prayed, healed, waited, grown. You've wrestled through dark nights and questioned if it was all in vain. But it wasn't. All of that energy was building something in the spirit. All of that effort was your soul rising. And now it's time to receive. Receiving isn't passive, it's a spiritual posture. It's the bold declaration, I am ready, I am open, I am worthy. Say that to yourself. Feel it in your body. Let it echo in your soul. That vibration turns possibilities into reality. And at the core of it all, beneath every prayer, every manifestation, every dream, is self-love. Without it, nothing sticks. With it, everything flows. Self-love isn't about vanity. It's about honoring your worth, trusting your voice, and treating your soul like it matters, because it does. When you truly love yourself, you stop chasing crumbs. You stop seeking external validation. You become a beacon, and love, wealth, and purpose flow to you like water to roots. Think about Michelle Obama. She didn't rise to prominence because she changed to fit in. She rose because she stood tall in her essence. Her self-love became the soil from which her influence, marriage, and legacy grew. That's the model. Not perfection, but alignment. Now imagine this. You wake up each day grounded, not because your life is flawless, but because your soul is whole. You breathe deeper. You laugh more. You move with certainty, not because everything is guaranteed, but because you trust who you've become. And gratitude, it ties it all together. When you honor what's already here, you create space for what's coming next. Even small things, a kind word, a clean glass of water, a moment of peace, carry spiritual weight. When you honor those, they multiply. So today, chosen one, breathe deeply. Say it out loud. I am ready. I am open. I am worthy. And know this isn't the end of your journey. It's the threshold. Your soulmate is closer than you think. Your wealth is already in motion. Your purpose is unfolding in divine order. The life you've prayed for is no longer just a dream. It's already reaching for you. And you, beloved, are finally ready to receive it. Chosen one, have you ever considered that the most powerful shift in your life could begin with just one sentence? Not from someone else, but from you. Your words carry the weight of creation. What you speak over yourself day in and day out becomes the foundation of your reality. The world may have told you you're not enough, but heaven is waiting for you to rise up and say, I am chosen, I am becoming, I am ready. Affirmations aren't wishful thinking, they're declarations of divine alignment. Every time you say, I am abundant, you're not pretending, you're activating. Every time you say, I attract what aligns with my purpose, you're not begging, you're calling. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Proverbs 18:21. That's not metaphor, it's spiritual law. What you speak, you build. But don't just say the words, feel them. Let them live in your bones. See the life you're affirming. Touch it in your imagination. That's not delusion. That's how the soul creates. Call those things which do not exist as though they did. Romans 4:17. God himself used this pattern in the beginning. He spoke, and it became. So what are you speaking into being? Look at Serena Williams. Before the trophies, the spotlight, and the legacy, she had a mindset formed by affirmations. She visualized victory long before the world saw it. She spoke it, she trained for it, she became it. That's the blueprint. Visualization isn't about fantasy, it's about faith with form. When you take time to picture the life you're praying for, whether it's holding the hand of your soulmate, building your business, or waking up in peace, you're giving your spirit a target to move toward. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So if you feel the joy, the wealth, the love as if it's already here, your energy begins to shift. And as your energy shifts, so does your environment. Write the vision and make it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. Why? Because when your vision is clear, your alignment becomes precise. Visualization is your soul's GPS. And the more emotionally charged it is, the stronger the signal you send into the spiritual realm. Add emotion to your imagination. Feel the kiss on your forehead from the one who sees your soul. Feel the laughter echoing in the home you designed with abundance. Feel the chills of reaching your divine goal. This isn't daydreaming, this is divine preparation. And when you make visualization consistent, the future stops being far away. It begins knocking on your door. Now let's talk about one of the most radical acts of self-respect in a world obsessed with pleasing others: saying no. Yes, chosen one. Saying no is a form of spiritual warfare. Every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to your divine alignment. No to manipulation, yes to peace. No to chaos, yes to clarity. No to proving yourself, yes to living in truth. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Matthew 5:37. You weren't called to be everything to everyone. You were called to walk with purpose. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They protect the flow of your energy so you can give from overflow, not exhaustion. Think about Brené Brown. Her rise wasn't based on people-pleasing. It was built on radical authenticity. She said no to roles that didn't fit her spirit and yes to vulnerability, truth, and calling. Today, millions are impacted by her courage to say no to noise and yes to depth. So ask yourself, what have you been saying yes to out of guilt, obligation, or fear? And is it costing you the space where your miracles were meant to land? Every no clears space. Every boundary you honor becomes a pathway for higher blessings. Now, let's face this sacred truth. Change is hard, but necessary. Transformation will never come while you cling to comfort. Chosen one, growth doesn't happen in the shallow end. It happens in deep waters where you learn to trust that God is holding you, especially when the ground beneath you shifts. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. God doesn't remove to punish. He removes to prepare. Every change, every ending, every unexpected redirection, it's not random. It's making space. Think about Tyler Mitchell, the first black photographer to shoot a Vogue cover. Before that moment, change was his constant. Doors closed, voices said, "Not yet." But he kept creating, kept evolving, kept walking through the discomfort. And in doing so, he stepped into history. So will you. Now pause and ask, what part of your life are you still clinging to, even though it's no longer feeding your spirit? Let it go. That version of you, though it kept you safe, cannot carry you into destiny. And you're not losing, you're evolving. The law of attraction responds not just to what you think, but what you feel. If you feel lack, you call more of it in. But if you live in gratitude, even when life isn't perfect, you create space for blessings to multiply. You've already seen this in action. Remember the times when a simple shift in mood brought unexpected breakthroughs. That wasn't coincidence, that was vibration. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Proverbs 17:22. Your emotions are magnets. Keep your joy high. Keep your hope alive. Let gratitude be your guide. Look at Demi Lovato. She's walked through darkness and come out glowing, not by denying the pain, but by shifting into healing, truth, and inner joy. Her transformation wasn't external. It started with what she chose to feel and believe inside. And chosen one, we cannot end this without touching on perhaps the most liberating truth of all. Forgiveness sets you free, not because what they did was okay, but because carrying that weight is too heavy for your soul. Forgiveness doesn't say, "You were right." It says, "I choose peace." Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Luke 6:37. This isn't a condition, it's a spiritual law. As you release, you rise, and that includes self-forgiveness too, because you, chosen one, are harder on yourself than anyone else ever has been. But you cannot grow while carrying guilt for a version of you that didn't know better. So today, whisper this in your spirit: I forgive myself. I forgive them. I release the weight. I choose freedom. Because when you let go, you rise. And when you rise, heaven meets you there. My dear souls, if this message has reached you today, it's because your spirit is ready to receive it. You are no longer who you were when this journey began. You've awakened to your power, your divine right to love, wealth, joy, and peace. You've remembered that manifestation begins with belief, but it doesn't end there. Dreams are sacred, but they require movement, action, courage, and not just any action, inspired action, the kind that flows from your intuition, not from fear. Whether it's making that phone call, applying for that opportunity, starting that healing conversation, or letting go of something that no longer serves your path, every step matters. You don't need to know the whole plan. You just need to trust your next right step. Each time you say yes to your truth, you send a message to the universe, I'm ready. And that message is heard. Life won't always be easy. You'll still face moments that test your faith. But chosen one, never forget, your power has never been in avoiding the storm. It has always been in rising through it. The obstacles didn't come to break you, they came to make you unshakable. Every scar you carry is sacred. Every trial you survived added another layer to your resilience. And look at you now, still standing, still glowing, still rising. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. Isaiah 40:31. This is your season to soar. This is your time to claim what's always been yours. To everyone who's walked this journey with me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your presence, your energy, and your spirit make this space sacred. Whether you've commented, liked, shared, or simply listened in silence, you are part of this divine unfolding. And to those who have chosen to support this message through super thanks, I am deeply, genuinely grateful. Your generosity allows me to keep showing up and delivering these truths from a place of love and purpose. But whether you donate or not, please know that I am just as thankful for you. Your energy, your presence here is already a blessing. If this message has moved something in your soul, consider leaving a comment, sharing it with someone who needs it, or simply whispering to yourself, I receive. And now, may you walk forward with your heart open, your vision clear, and your faith unshakable. May love greet you. May abundance flow to you. May your spirit remain grounded in peace no matter what comes. You are protected. You are provided for. You are profoundly loved. And it is your time to rise. With all my heart, blessings upon blessings, always.